Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Greetings, Algo artisans. It is Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. EST when we start our live lab, and we're looking right at the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ made all-time highs, as I predicted publicly and even more accurately privately last week, right? So basically, I had drawn a chart for my private live lab members that predicted the path and the actual high of the NASDAQ. So if you watched the weekly update that I sent out, which I do Mondays, I was doing it on Sundays, but the current environment is just insane for Monday opens. So I like to let the Monday market open happen, let those jitters kind of kick out of the market, and then I will have a fresh look on what's going to happen the rest of the week. Monday trading is a little tricky anyway. I usually only trade FX in any size on Tuesday through Thursday. I'll scalp on Mondays, I'll scalp on Fridays. But long story short, I put out that weekly update on Mondays, right? Partway through the day, maybe towards the end of the day. If you want to see that, and if you want to get your free algo, go to the link in the description. Just go in there, click on the link, give us a name, real name, fake name, we don't care. Give us your email, and you will have the free algo, and I will send you the weekly market forecast. Okay, so what's going on with the NASDAQ? Let's go ahead and back out and take a look at this. First of all, from an algorithmic standpoint, this thing is high time frame bullish. It started to cool off a little bit. So if we look at the weekly, what we're noticing here, and this is the chart going back to like 2023, right? So this is a very high time frame chart. And on the way up, price got a little bit tired right here. Price started to slow down where this box is right there. And that was at the end of last year, beginning of this year. So November 2024, halfway through. We had the DeepSeek thing happen, I believe, halfway through December. So just a reminder on part of why this came down. The tariff tantrum really did kind of spark this sell-off. However, it may be that the DeepSeek issue, which is a Chinese AI firm, and we'll tell that story very briefly, may have actually been the fuse, right? And then the tariff tantrum ended up being more of the bomb itself. So DeepSeek showed the industry that all the billions and probably trillions that are going into AI, server farms and all of the capacity and things like that may not be necessary. And when you have trillions of dollars that were set to go in a direction that may no longer be necessary, you get a market panic. And that market panic is going to look kind of like this crazy candle right here, this doji, the spinning top doji, if you will. I'll box this candle so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And if I remember correctly, this was when DeepSeek happened. I'm going to have to look that up here. Long story short, though, the market went sideways. And I was told by somebody who really knows his stuff that when the DeepSeek thing happened, he guaranteed us that there were a lot of people overnight in conference rooms, coffee brewing, in hotels, emergency meetings, like how are we going to keep this from being a problem? And then the market went sideways, and then tariff tantrum, and then boom. So price came down, and then the price was caught down here. This is the NASDAQ at 16,500. Now the highs had been at 22,000. So this was a fall, and this is going to affect everything, including Bitcoin. We're going to get to Bitcoin next. And this was a dump in the NASDAQ of 25%, and it happened in about an 8-week period. And that is a very fast, a very strong move. Trillions cleared out of the market. I believe NVIDIA itself lost $1 trillion, and NVIDIA is more or less 13-14% of the NASDAQ, right? So the Bitcoin and crypto do tend to follow tech stocks and NASDAQ. So if I were to overlay Bitcoin before we actually take a look at what might happen with Bitcoin, then we would see basically the same similar price action here, right? Sideways to down. Now, this is not on the same percent scale, so we're going to look at that later, but let's just stick with the NASDAQ for now. This move up right here, I've been talking about this. This was massively retail. Retail is like mom and pop people, just people trading from home, buying individual stocks, piling their money into things like NVIDIA, trying to scrape profit out of the market, and God bless them. It's pushed this market up really hard, but there's not been as much institutional money. That's your asset managers, your 401ks, and your hedge funds and things like that. Not as much of that type of money has caused this move up, and that is a bit of a concern. Why is that? Well, the institutional money doesn't lose. Okay, they don't like to lose. They tend not to lose. And what they do like to do is to let retail buy them out of their positions. What does that mean? Well, let's just say your institutionals did catch this bottom right here. And then they stopped buying right here. But retail was induced to buy because, hey, the tariffs are over. And then retail pushed prices up here. Now, all of the institutional money starts to go ahead and slowly start selling here and sell here and sell here and basically offload their position, right? So the institutional money most likely has been taking profit. I don't have the data. I will look that data up via some quant data and share that with Algo Factory, but I can almost promise you that's what's been going on to some degree. So the question is, how high can it go? Well, I can tell you high time frame, it wants to continue up. And in an algorithmic way, algorithmic fashion, everything is still pretty bullish, but it's at a point where it has become vulnerable. The NASDAQ could pull back. The question is how far? And right now, every time it's tried to pull back, it's been eaten right back up. So you have this pullback here, eaten right back up, and pushed right back up. Pull back here, slurped up by the market, took a minute to come back, and new highs again, right? So new high, new high, new high, new high, and now we have these new highs here. So the market just continues to make new highs, and what you're looking at is a very strong uptrend. The question is, how long can it go? It can go quite a while. Now we are in the summertime. Most of your institutional traders are taking breaks and not quite as busy during this time. So it may be that retail is able to continue to push this up while perhaps algorithmically or the skeleton crews at the asset managers are selling off. Again, I will look into that quant data. I will inform Algo Factory privately. If you want to be a member of Algo Factory, again, get the link in the description and I will put you on a list that gives you the information, or just go to algofactory.tech and sign up. Let's take a brief look at Bitcoin, and then I'm going to move over to the private live lab where everybody is going to be able to get the deeper information. And I believe V the Gorilla is going to join us today. He has been joining us most days, when he doesn't have some kind of crazy big massive deal going on. V the Gorilla is a beast in the international crypto and gold markets, and so he has a day job, kind of like I do, which is trading. So Bitcoin itself, I have been leaning towards a move up, right? And it does appear that it is going to move up. And there was a fake out breakout yesterday. I lost that trade, got stopped out. It's a little difficult to trade in this quiet environment, and I can scrape out some wins, but I do think the next move for Bitcoin, well, I can tell you it's going to be one of three things, not one of two things, one of three. It's either going to reject here at 119,588. Let me fix this to make it visible. Right, so let's zoom in a little bit. Just to bear in mind, these lines I wrote are resistances. They're recent highs, and the all-time high is this top blue line. So now I can zoom in and take a look at what's happening with the price. This is a 3-hour chart. So you're looking at price going back about a week and a half. And price may break here above 119,673-ish. It may reject there, go back down. But I think eventually, even if it rejects, you're probably going to see something like this. And then the highs are going to, or the price will approach this 121,000 high. Now, it may not do that. It may simply go straight through that. It might break and head up. We're going to see about that. We got V the Gorilla here. Just talking about you. How are you, sir?
Hello.
Hello.
Very good, my friend. How are you?
Doing good. We're still talking to the public here. We got another minute. I'm just briefly going over the possibilities with Bitcoin, and we're going to look a little bit deeper once we go private. And then V the Gorilla, let me finish this. I'm going to ask you to get us out of here. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Unless there's anything you want to say to the YouTube X and Rumble audience.
No.
All right. Yeah.
Join
Screw those guys. Just kidding.
That's what I would
you.
say. Is join.
Yeah. Join Algo Factory. Right. So we might see a breakout above here. Above this 119,690 area. That's the local high. If we see that, then there is an increased probability Bitcoin will try to reclaim those highs. It is bullish, but it was taking a break. Now, there is also the remote chance, at least not quite as probable, that Bitcoin will reject downward and go to grab 112, 113. That can happen. It is not the higher probability scenario. The two for me are a continued range sideways and then a move up to 121 and possibly the all-time highs. That's the more likely scenario at this time. But as price negotiates these obstacles, the algos will give me more information. So, V the Gorilla, please, if you could, get us out of here, and we will talk to the private live lab and give them whatever deeper information we may have.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Don't sit on the sidelines wondering if this is for you. Join us, algofactory.tech. Learn a trade, learn how to build the algos, take advantage of the chaos, the booms, the busts, all the cycles. Learn how to psychologically steel yourself and give yourself that real resolve in order for you to endure. Join us, algofactory.tech.
Join us or die.